My name is Riley Johnston, and my candidate number is 6121. In this video, I will be discussing CCR number 2, how would you distribute your film? So, what's the role of the distributor? The role of the distributor is extremely important and actually way more important than many people realize. The distributor has to distribute the film to its audience, and they're responsible for determining where and how the film will be seen. So, for example, each film will have different catering audiences. So, mine is a horror movie, and we have decided on the age rating of PG-13. So, my film should cater towards an audience that's 13 and above. So, many teens, young adults, seniors, etc., that are in that age category. An example of catering towards teens would be using social media platforms like YouTube and TikTok, which I feel like would suit my film well since it caters towards many teens. So A24. A24 is the independent film studio that we chose and that I think that would represent my film wisely. For our small budget independent horror film, I feel the perfect match would be A24. I have noticed their reputation in distributing and producing lower or mid budget horror films, and I feel that our film would be in perfect hands with them. For example, I feel like they have very creative ways of making movies as well as distributing their movies. It's not the typical distribution process of just posting it on social media or making flyers, and I love their creativity and feel like they would admire the work that we've done so far and have many ideas to add to it and make it better. So, a little bit about A24. So, A24 is an independent movie studio that creates and distributes their own films. I, in particular, really admire their horror films, especially Heretic, and feel that they would be best to distribute our films since so many of the horror films I feel like fit the genre and the vibes that we were going to and going for. So, a little bit about Heretic. So, this film is by A24 and it's a film I really loved. It was a horror movie and they used very smart marketing. Like in an airport, they marketed this in Salt Lake City, and that's very important since that's creative. And even though that it would seem obvious, many people don't market films in airports, even though I have such large audiences. And I myself would love to see a movie poster when I get off a plane or I'm waiting for a plane and you have so much time that you can look up movies or you're in a rush and you might think about it when you get home. It's important to think about places that have a high population of people in at once to see posters, and I feel like in this case they were very smart to market it, and I feel like my film would be in good hands if they were to distribute it as well. Distributing our films would be very important since their distribution strategies have been very creative and unique compared to major studios like Paramount Pictures. I feel like uses very basic things like trailers as well as social media, and while those things are great, a smaller film company has less money, so having less money and being more creative is always better. So we would use social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube to share spoilers, behind the scenes clips, and interviews. I think this would set me aside from other people since it's extremely important to be able to market it on social media, but also show different things, not just showing the same clip over and over again or the same flyer, but to give them something new. So spoilers, behind the scenes clips, and interviews would be a good way to do that. We could create a personal film website where we could show the short film and others that we created. So, having a website and posting short films and different ideas that we have and descriptions could create a portfolio for us. And this would benefit us since it would create a way that people could access our portfolio, they could look it up, they could see it all organized. And if people drive with the ideas that we have, they could communicate with us and help us to distribute it or help us get the film out. We would submit our film to student youth film festivals like Sundance Ignite or Film Freeway competitions. So, competitions, especially in the youth age, are extremely important because they can help you get the word out through showing creativity and showing interest in you if you were to win a competition or if you were to have a really good film that they truly loved. We could distribute it and market it to businesses through hanging flyers and asking them to spread the word. We could also go to local parks or malls because they have huge populations at the same time and hand out free merch like pins to get the word out. People love getting free merch and getting a pin or something that shows that that shows our film and what to expect, or different parts of the film, can help get the word out and help them get intrigued. So, a realistic distribution strategy. So, one of the strategies that I would say is super realistic is to submit it to a festival or competition. By submitting it, we can distribute it to that festival, and if they like it, they could we would win and we could help distribute it out to larger populations. But starting small is always great, and it's a great way to start out. Online marketing, we would upload the film to YouTube and promote it through Instagram and TikTok. YouTube is a great source, it's a great social media, and using social media today with those huge amounts of people that are able to see it at once and going viral could mean that you get a huge population going to your movie or getting attention. We could pitch it to A24 or other independent movie studios that we feel might drive with it or might have some ideas to help us. Even if they don't want to distribute it or doesn't end up on their page, they could help us get ideas and help us distribute it ourselves. We can go to schools or theaters. So, local schools and local theaters, we can show it to a high number of people at one time. So, for example, schools, if we were to show it in a school auditorium, they could see they could seat up to like 300 people most of the time, and that could be shown to a lot of people at once, and those students could go talk to other students who then talk to their families, and it gets out through spreading word. And we could also social media campaign. I'd create a trailer using the best parts of the film and ensure to build suspense and questions. The more questions I can pose and the more intriguing I can get the viewers to be, it could get them hooked on the film and wanting to see more. And finally, this is the film movie poster that I created. So, starting with the background of this movie poster is the trees and it's the setting of the park that we filmed in. I made it black and white to drive with the horror genre and the creepy feeling. I used a screenshot of the main actor, Isabella Lambert, at the top with the cloth over her face since that's like the main part of the movie. I also used a quote from a family friend that explained that they loved the film opening, and that's always good to include on a movie poster since it could help get other people to be convinced as well. I put 5 stars to show that she thought it was a 5 star movie. Bar Studios is the name of our studio company, so I made sure to include that. I wrote Game of Captivity, which is our film title, and it's always important to make sure the film title is on the movie poster so that people can go home, look it up, being able to figure out when they're going to see it. And then, most importantly, I would say, besides the film title, is the date that it's coming out. So I wrote in cinema June 20th, which is very important since people should know when they could be able to see it.